to why I say that this is the issue for me is as a person who is watching what people do in marriage, the only thing we're talking about is merging finances and the idea of complete commitment. That's it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can literally go and me and my boyfriend right now can sign. I can add him to my lease right now, and
Mm-hmm.
he stay here longer than a certain period of time. We're cohabitating together. I can literally open enrollment coming up, put you on my insurance as my domestic spouse. Like that's what it could be classified as. Your regular car insurance. If y'all live in a household together, you're classified as that
As
person's partner,
married.
this house. You get that. So when we're talking about it in totality, I too feel like marriage is a hierarchy, Kasey. I'm not taking it away from you. I do feel like the title is very different for the obligation. But when you're talking about the actual duties and the obligation, man, we playing semantics here because we all doing the same thing. You still want a man who could come in and protect you. You still want a man who could be a good role model to show you that he could be a good man to you if you have children. You still want a man who can help you when you sick, when you down and out, who gonna be respectful to your family, who show up with you, who support you through anything.
Of course.
Despite whether or not y'all ever signed the paperwork. So why are we playing like the next day after the wedding that there's so much great change? Ain't nothing changed.
Let me give them an example.
I never. Y'all are saying this great change.
Hold on. I know they're going back with it.
Y'all are saying this great change. I'm saying it's a difference, and I'm saying it's a progression. I'm not saying you're not a wife, and then you walk down the aisle and you wake up and you become a wife. That I never ever said that from my first statement to when I just spoke a second ago. But I'm saying it's not the same thing, and you should not expect to see a person the same as a boyfriend or girlfriend as you do as a wife or husband. And you shouldn't expect somebody to be in a husband role for you as a girlfriend when they're not.
Okay, let me say this. I am a husband to a certain degree to women that I'm friends with. Okay. I am just a husband, period. I've been married. It's just how I conduct myself. All right. So I'm a husband to a girl I'm dating. I'm a husband to a female friend. I could be a husband to a ex. It's all the same because I am me. Now, when it comes to, am I going to live with this woman, buy a house with this woman, the financial stuff like Parrish was saying? Of course not. But I am who I am, and I move regardless of what's in my environment, the damn same. So being in relationships, if I'm in a relationship with a woman and she got a kid, right? And I meet her and I meet the kid or whatever, and we decide to get married. Nothing's going to really change overall between us being girlfriend and boyfriend and I'm in her child's lives or whatever, and we get married. Nothing's changing. Whether we live together and decide to move in together or whether we live together and then turn around and get married on Thursday. Friday, everything's the same damn thing. There's nothing different.
Kasey, the only question I would ask you is this.
Disagree.
Kasey, I just want to ask you one thing. All right, I just want to ask you one thing. Only because we're talking.
You ain't been single.
Only because we're talking about withholding, right?
Single.
Kasey, I only wanted to ask you this one question, just for clarity, because we're talking about withholding. What specifically would you recommend you withhold from when you are fiance or whatever these other levels that you would now do that you're married specifically?
Nothing.
Wait, say that again. Well, you said that I would now do.
Now, you saying that it's going to be different, but we're talking about withholding, right? You're saying you shouldn't do the same thing as it's going to look different when you're married. So what I was asking you is specifically, what do you recommend people withhold who are not yet married? Maybe that's your fiance, maybe it's your long-term girlfriend, and we realize marriage may look different, but what do you specifically recommend people withhold?
So going back to the age is going to play a big difference. If y'all are mainly talking about grown 35, 40-year grown people that have not been married, X, Y, and Z, there's still a spiritual aspect and a connection aspect that is not going to be the same as a full individual man or woman that has not been married and that is going to be merging themselves with another person. Like I'm not about to sit on here and give a whole list of X, Y, and Z. But
Okay,
I've said
other than spiritual, I can understand what you're saying. I agree with you on
yeah,
that.
you have
Other
to.
than that, contextually, what?
You're not gonna do the same thing as a 21-year-old. So I'm sure you're
No.
probably
We
gonna be
grown.
playing with each other.
What's the
So
difference?
as if you're younger, you're gonna be you know, in your own households or still with your parents. But as a grown adult, I feel
What
there
would be the
should be
difference,
some
Kasey? You're not
barriers,
answering the
some
question.
boundaries. There should
What's
be
the
some
difference?
boundaries that are removed as you go into marriage as a older person
Like
that
what?
going into one.
Like what?
Two different households if you feel like it, or of course if two different people are
People
moving
be
from a
living together.
city, they might live together, but there's still going to be some boundaries of they're still not my husband, that's
Like
still not my
what?
wife.
We just asking like what?
I'm trying to think. Let go.
That's what we're saying. That's all we're
None.
saying. Like, what specifically would change?
The
Because
older aspect.
There are none, Kasey, and this is all I'm saying. You've been married since you was in your 20s. I understand. That's a
Are you
great thing.
co-signing a loan before marriage, Mr. Lego?
I literally said we're not buying a house together. I literally said that. I literally said that. We're not co-mingling stuff, but other than that, if me and you together, you got a kid or whatever, and we're around each other and we move in together, when we get married, nothing changes Friday after we come back from the vacation. Everything is the same shit. Other than
just how you move with other people in your life, that person you may be living with them, but that person doesn't come first. Like I believe there's a hierarchy. If you're not married, I believe your children should be coming first. If you're not married, if you have children and you're dating somebody, if you have children already and you're in your 30s and you're dating somebody, that person, I don't feel until you're married should come first, because in marriage is Christ, the husband, the wife, and then the children. But those children have another father. So I believe if two people over their 30s and they have children and they're getting together and they're living together, I don't believe that other partner should come first before those children, because you haven't made that covenant. You haven't made that covenant, and that those children still have another parent.
Black grandmothers used to.
If a woman
grandmothers used to recommend what you said. Grandmothers.
Hold on.
Me, if a woman,
yes.
If a woman lives in the house under a man, the child and the woman is going to go by the man's rules. What are you talking about? Whether they married or not?
First of all, if you want to back it all the way up, if I had children in my 30s and I wasn't married and I met somebody who could be my potential husband, we not living together until I'm married. I'm not moving my children.
You're right. I dealt with women with kids before,
and I go with what the man says who's running the household.
You wouldn't be running the household because you're not the head of the household, because you're not a husband.
Oh my God, he is the head of the household.
Just because you playing house does not make you. If you want that role, step into that role.
You never lived with a guy in a relationship. You've been married. You got to understand that.
I live with my husband as a fiance.
And he ran the household when you was a fiance.
Why can't he press her about that? But I couldn't press him about earlier if he gonna be able to press her like that. No, I'm not. Hold on, y'all. See what I'm saying?
I'm not being disrespectful. Let go. He's not being disrespectful. He's asking the question. He's not being disrespectful. All right. We all grown up here. Let's just have a conversation. As long as it's not personal, then we can get on the table. As long as we're not talking to each other, we can put everything on the table.
The nigga want to talk to me so bad. Like, leave me alone.
Let go. He's not being disrespectful. Let go.
I'm not offended by the conversation. And I think,
bro,
he's not saying.
The show's called Let's Talk. Okay. So let's not even bring your personal life into it. If what she's discussing, and I'll share my experiences. I dealt with with a woman who had children. My immature self was selfish. I didn't know any better. I felt she should have prioritized me. As I got older, I recognized that her kids should come first until I at least put an engagement ring on her finger, or I'm married with her. She should put her kids first. And grandmothers and mothers taught that back then. If you had a man with somebody, hey, it's your kids now. You don't even worry about dating back then. You need to raise your kids, then worry about dating. You put yourself in that situation because the father should come first, especially if you're not listening to that father. The question that I asked you, and I'm not going to personalize it, and if you're coaching women, Are you going to coach women? Is it, or men? Let's say men being great leaders. If I'm a great leader and a woman signs up to me getting married with me, should I leave her if I get this woman and I'm committing to her? Should I leave her? That's what I'm asking. I'm not even gonna bring your situation up. If we're talking about what she should promote or what you should promote, and we're having a let's talk discussion, I ain't trying to disrespect you. If a woman does everything in alignment with this man, and it's a phenomenal wife or a good wife, and if you have your ups and downs, should a man ever leave his wife?
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm asking the question. This is an honest discussion.
What the hell are you talking about, bro?
Why are you saying what I'm talking about? You knew what you were talking about.
Can you talk to Kasey?
Hey, JR, I'm having an intentional conversation.
Come on, y'all. Talking about?
I'm not disrespecting him at all. If he can tell her that it's okay for people to give, if a woman could be able to give up everything and treat a woman like a wife before he gets married, and he's able to press her, and it's a conversation in good faith, why is it that I can't ask that question? How is it what the hell I'm talking about? If we're telling women to be with men.
Go ahead, Paris.
Ali, you've done. I don't want to overtalk.
Yeah, thank you so much.
He's done.
Thank you.
He's done.
You're welcome.
Come on, y'all. Come on.
I will say this. I completely understand, and I agree with Kasey's point that I think we keep overshadowing. Her point is there is a different level of obligation with the title. And when you get that title, some things are just not negotiable anymore because you are one. I agree with that. I think the disconnect in the conversation that we are having is there are still things that people are doing relationship oriented, and they're wanting the privilege of having that title. They're wanting the privilege of getting that entire obligation, but they have done it in a manipulative fashion, such as trying to restrict certain positive attributes that their partner should be benefiting off of due to past experiences with other people or due to just simply influence. Somebody else is in their ear telling them, why would you, how would you, et cetera, et cetera. But it's manipulative because they're still expecting the other party to show up as them true selves. And then in the event that they don't get the benefit in the end, it's like, well, they were the ones who got played. Whole time they doing the plan. So I think
I think Paris, that's what the disconnect is. I'm not saying withhold your goodness, right? I'm not saying withhold your heart, you're gonna be showing if you display those husband qualities, yes, you're gonna all of that's gonna show that love, that care, that nurturing, that thoughtfulness, that just really making that person a priority in your life. That's going to be shown regardless. I'm not saying withhold any of those qualities from a person and be manipulative, like, you didn't do this, so I'm not going to answer my phone or this and that. Like that type of stuff, that is evil. That is manipulative. And that does prolong the process of getting to know a person for who they are and what they bring to the table. I'm definitely not talking about
anything,
that.
Right?
And I will never
say that's not what I say, Mr. Lego.
I don't want to put it out here.
Yeah, we got to transition to that final topic too, y'all.
Age is not the determining factor here. I don't care if you're 21 or you 31 or you 41. At the basis of it, if you're going into it and marriage is your end goal, then you need to show up in a marriage mind again. And I stand on this for women. Being a wife ain't something you turn off and on, regardless of the experience that you have had with another man. JR made a great point. When you go into that next situation, it's not going to replicate what you have done and who you have been before. You are growing, you are changing. The next person that you show up with looks like a different person than you were in with before. So, like I said, even when Precious mentions getting along, I don't think that's fair because it's a lot of times people are playing house in a lot of different ways and they're getting cars together. They're doing a lot of different things together. And they getting businesses together. We've seen Instagram couples come up off of Airbnbs and everything, and they never showed you a wedding. So people are doing it. Should they be doing it? It's a different story. But people are actually doing it.